pinpoint of intent. One silent breath, one swift motion. The line between life and death blurs once more. The aftermath is a blur, a whirlwind of pounding feet, startled shouts, and the clatter of overturned carts. You vanish into the maze of narrow streets, heart hammering, every sense screaming alert. Your cloak whips behind you as you slip through shadowed alleys, dodging guards and curious townsfolk alike. The city seems to close in a labyrinth of stone and suspicion. You reach the safe house, a nondescript building tucked between a tannery and a candlemaker's shop. Inside, flickering candlelight casts jittery shadows on rough plaster walls. Your contact waits, face grim but eyes sharp, already pulling bandages and herbs to staunch the wound. You barely noticed yourself. Pain pulses through your side, a souvenir from a careless guard's blade, but there's no time for weakness. The work must continue. You catch your breath, tasting copper, and sweat knowing that rest is a luxury as fleeting as the dagger's strike. The room fills with whispered plans and half-spoken warnings. Maps are spread routes marked in charcoal and hope. The next target looms like a specter, more dangerous and less predictable. Every mission tightens the noose, and every misstep risks everything. You sip a bitter herbal tea, its earthy bitterness grounding you. Outside rain begins to patter on the cobblestones, a rhythmic reminder that even the heavens are indifferent to your plight. Historians still argue about the true organization of medieval assassin networks. Were they tightly controlled guilds or loosely connected groups of mercenaries and outcasts? The truth is probably as tangled as the streets you now navigate. You close your eyes briefly, letting the flickering candlelight dance behind your lids. The night is far from over, and the game is just beginning again. Dawn brings no relief, only a pale, hesitant light, filtering through grime-smeared windows. Your wound throbs beneath layers of rough cloth, a constant reminder that your work always demands a toll. You wake to the scent of damp straw and stale smoke, a familiar, unwelcome embrace. The room feels smaller now, walls closing in with the weight of exhaustion and looming dangers. Your contact is already awake, moving with quiet efficiency, sharpening blades and mixing poultices with steady hands. The cramped space holds little room for comfort or hope, but it hums with tense purpose. Every breath you take is measured, every movement deliberate. Today's task is different. Intelligence suggests your next mark will attend a gathering at the city's edge, a place where nobles sip mead and trade secrets like currency. Your entry must be flawless, your exit invisible. Failure means more than just death. It means betrayal, capture, and the collapse of everything you've built. You dress carefully, dark, muted leathers that blend with shadows, boots softened for silence, a hood pulled low to hide your face. Every strap and buckle is checked twice. The weight of hidden blades is reassuring, familiar. You don't relish the killing, but you do respect the craft. Stepping into the chill morning air, you move like a ghost among merchants and craftsmen already starting their day. The city is waking, oblivious to the deadly game unfolding beneath its bustling surface. You slip through streets like water blending unseen. Historians still argue whether medieval assassins operated more as lone wolves or within shadowy cabals with strict hierarchies. Perhaps both were true depending on the region and era. For you, the line between ally and enemy blurs constantly. As you approach the manor, the sound of laughter and music spills through open windows, a stark contrast to the cold steel in your hands. You take a deep breath, steady your nerves, and prepare to step into the lion's den once more. You wake before dawn with a start, not because the alarm sounded, but because your heart is already racing. The cold night air clings to your skin like a second cloak, prickling and relentless. Your breath forms tiny clouds that vanish as quickly as they come, swallowed by the gloom of the medieval morning. You lie still for a moment, savoring the last scraps of warmth left by the embers in the hearth. The dog snores softly at your feet, oblivious to your growing unease. Today's task is simple in theory, but deadly in practice, the assassination. Not just a job, but a slow dance with death itself, where one misstep means a noose, a blade, or a pit waiting below. You dress carefully, layering your worn tunic with a dark cloak dyed a shade of indigo so deep it almost drinks in the shadows. Your boots are quiet, but sturdy, perfect for slipping through alleys slick with ice or dirt. You check your weapons. Small knives hidden beneath your sleeves, a slender dagger strapped to your belt, and a length of rope coiled tight. Each tool feels familiar and heavy with promise, a grim reminder of your precarious livelihood. Assassins in medieval Europe were often hired shadows, invisible hands, serving lords and merchants alike. Yet their survival was never guaranteed. Betrayal, capture, and brutal justice lurked at every turn. As you step outside, the village is still wrapped in silence, save for the distant crow of a rooster and the crackle of frost underfoot. The moon wanes, offering little light, but your eyes have grown accustomed to the dark. You move like a ghost, quiet, deliberate, unseen. Every breath is measured, every step a whispered prayer. Historians still argue whether medieval assassins were organized guilds or lone wolves operating on the fringes of society. Some tales speak of secret brotherhoods with codes and rituals, while others depict desperate individuals eking out a living in the shadows, feared by many but trusted by few. You slip through a narrow alley past shuttered windows and slumbering homes, heading toward your target. Your mind sharpens, heart pounding in rhythm with the footsteps behind the wall. This is no place for hesitation. You pause in the shadows, blending into the chill mist, curling along the cobblestones. The target's house looms ahead, modest but fortified enough to warn against careless entry. You scan the narrow windows, searching for a glimpse of movement, a flicker of candlelight, anything to betray the presence within. The cold seeps through your gloves, biting into your fingers, but you barely notice. Focus sharpens a razor edge, cutting through the fog of fear and fatigue. You pull out a slender blade, its edge glinting faintly beneath the wan moon. It's a tool of precision and silence, meant for swift endings rather than loud confrontations. Medieval assassins prized subtlety. A single clean strike was worth more than a chaotic brawl. Your training echoes in your mind: strike between the ribs, avoid the ribs, no noise, no struggle. Yet even the best-laid plans often unravel. Stories circulate in hushed taverns of assassins who were betrayed by their own shadows, caught by a squealing rat or a creaky floorboard. One fringe tale tells of a killer who slipped on spilled wine and met his end not by the sword, but by laughter. You can't afford such folly tonight. You edge closer, hand steady, every muscle coiled like a spring. The door is locked tight, but you have tools for that too. Hairpins twisted and bent, a delicate dance of fingers practiced countless times. With a soft click, the latch yields. You slip inside, swallowed by darkness. The room is cold and silent. The only illumination, a dying candle casting flickering shadows on rough-hewn walls. The target sleeps unaware. Your breath slows, heartbeat measured as you approach. This moment holds the weight of 1,000 lives, theirs, yours, and those tangled in between. Historians still debate the morality of medieval assassins. Were they necessary evils, tools of justice, or simply killers cloaked in myth? Whatever the truth, you know the line between hero and villain blurs beneath the moonlight. You raise your dagger. The cold metal feels steady, unforgiving. And as the blade descends, your world narrows to a single point, the flicker of a life ending and the shadow of your own survival. The deed is done, but the night has only just begun. You slip back into the shadows, heart pounding not from triumph, but from the sudden weight of survival's uncertainty. The village sleeps unaware of the silent reaper weaving through their midst. Your breath puffs in pale clouds mingling with the mist as you move with the cautious grace of a cat navigating a room full of ticking clocks. Escape is never simple. The narrow streets twist like veins, each corner a potential trap. The cold air feels sharper now, cutting through your layers, as if mocking your feeble attempts at protection. Your boots, worn thin and soaked from earlier rains, slap softly against the stones. You keep your eyes low-minded, racing through possible ambushes, guards, rival assassins, or simply an unlucky stray dog. You remember the tale of the assassin, who after a successful strike was undone by a drunken reveler, who stumbled into his path spilling ale and suspicion alike. Such are the cruel ironies of your trade. It's said some assassins carried small tokens, charms, prayers, even simple luck, to ward off these unexpected fates. You clutch your own talisman, a weathered piece of leather worn smooth by years of grasping. The village seems both smaller and larger in the dark. Every shadow stretches longer, every sound amplified. You pause beneath a flickering lantern, its light flickering like a heartbeat. For a moment you consider the lives you've touched, the threads you've cut, the futures you've rewritten. It's a lonely legacy, but one you carry alone. Historians still argue whether assassins operated with strict codes or lived by pure necessity and chaos. Some legends paint them as disciplined monks of death, others as mercenaries fueled by greed and survival. You know the truth is messier, tangled in human frailty and ruthless pragmatism. You reach the edge of the village where the forest begins your sanctuary and your challenge. Trees loom like silent sentinels, branches tangled against the night sky. You step into the cover of darkness, letting the wilderness swallow you whole. The cold bites deep once more. But you are moving now, alive, unseen, and still very much a shadow. You press deeper into the forest, the crunch of frost-hardened leaves underfoot, the only sound accompanying your careful steps. The moon hangs low, pale and watchful, casting elongated shadows that twist and dance like phantoms around the gnarled trunks. Here, away from stone walls and flickering lanterns, the world feels ancient, raw, and untamed, a place where every rustle could mean predator or prey. Your breath billows in icy clouds, each exhale a fleeting ghost lost to the night. The cold seeps through even the thickest layers, settling in your bones like an unwelcome companion. Yet your mind is sharp alert to every shift in the underbrush, every snap of twig or distant howl. This wilderness is your refuge, but it's also a labyrinth of unseen dangers. One wrong step, one careless sound, and the forest might just turn on you. You slow your pace, crouching beneath low-hanging branches heavy with frost. The world narrows to the rhythm of your heartbeat and the pulse of the night. You recall whispered tales from older assassins of tracking foes through snowstorms, hiding beneath frozen rivers and vanishing into mist with nothing but shadows for company. Some say the forest itself was a silent ally, cloaking those who respected its rules. Others claim it was an indifferent judge, as likely to swallow you whole as to shelter you. The leather of your gloves creaks as you tighten your grip on the worn hilt of your dagger. It's no grand sword, but in your hands it's a tool of survival and silent judgment. You tuck it carefully beneath your cloak, ready for whatever the night might demand. Despite the solitude, there's a strange comfort in this routine. The measured breath, the practiced movements, the dance between light and dark. Historians still debate whether medieval assassins were part of organized guilds with secret rites, or mere hired blades navigating a chaotic world. Evidence suggests a patchwork of loyalties and personal codes shaped more by necessity than honor. You know better than most. The line between savior and villain is as thin and shifting as the snow beneath your feet. You pause at a frozen stream, its surface glassy and unmoving, reflecting the star-studded sky above. In this moment, time seems to slow, the cold pressing close, but your spirit holding firm. You allow yourself a brief respite, the silent embrace of the forest, wrapping around you like a shroud and a shield. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, new shadows to navigate, new secrets to keep. But for now, in the quiet heart of winter's night, you breathe deeply and remember, survival isn't just about striking swiftly. It's about enduring, adapting, and existing in the spaces between. You move forward again, a ghost among the trees, a whisper lost to the wind, carrying the weight of 1,000 silent nights.